Long ago in a distant land, I, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Aku.
Gotta do that, back to the past, Samurai Jack. Gotta do that, back to the past, Samurai Jack.
Jack.
Gotta do that, back to the past, Samurai Jack. Gotta do that, back to the past, Samurai Jack.
Jack.
Gotta do that,
Jack.
gotta do that, Samurai Jack.
Robert, help me with my memory here. Did you actually get the Emmy for Samurai Jack?
Yes.
Now, is that sometimes, the Emmys can be kind of a tricky thing on the receiving end, but how was that process of getting the nomination and actually winning it? Did you expect to win it, or take me through that whole experience for you?
Well, I had been nominated before. My first nomination was in '93 for a special I did at Hanna-Barbera, and I didn't win. And I thought, well, I'll never be back here again, one of those things. And then we were nominated about at least 3 times for Powerpuff Girls. And every time we would go, we were always up against The Simpsons. And The Simpsons seemed like they would win year after year after year. So when we were nominated for Samurai Jack, I really thought The Simpsons were going to win again, because the way the Emmys works, a lot of times you get these large voting blocks and people support other shows, whatever. And I just assumed The Simpsons were going to win. So that night when it was at the Shrine Auditorium back then, when our category came up, I heard when they said, and the Emmy goes to, and I just heard the sound of them starting to say Samurai Jack. And I thought they were going to say Simpsons. So everything went into slow motion then, and they said Samurai Jack. And I just stood up and yelled, and it was great. And at that point, on our way down to the stage, the Simpson crew all got up and left because they were, bad losers, because they weren't winning it again. And it was a lot of fun, and it was enjoyable. And that was the first of my 6 Emmys that I've won.
And so you get up there and you make a speech. Do you remember to thank everyone?
No, I don't. You don't make what they do is they have a kind of a rule. They set it up beforehand. They say, like, if it's a group of people, have one person do the talking, and which is right. So Gendy, who's the showrunner and creator of the show, he did all the talking, and I just went up there, stood behind him, and then the next category, as we walked off and we got behind the curtain, but the next category was then what was called the I think it was hour and above category. And we were in that category. I had 2. Here's what's interesting. That night when I went there, I thought for sure I was going to win something, because in the hour above category, there were only 2 nominations. One was for Star Wars Clone Wars, and the other one was for a Powerpuff Christmas special. I worked on both of those shows, and I figured I got to win something. I got to get something here. But what I didn't know at the time was that category was not a must-win category. You have to get a certain percentage of yes votes, but I didn't realize that. So Ginny and I are walking back off the stage, and we get behind the curtain. I grab Ginny and goes, wait a minute, let's hear the results of the next category, because he's in that category too, for Star Wars. And they said Star Wars, and it goes to Star Wars Clone Wars. We just turned around, went back out on stage, and the rest of the crew comes up. And so I won 2 Emmys that night.
Nice.
It was nice. It was exciting.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
They were known as Lucifer and the Men with Painted Faces when they burned New Orleans to the ground. And when they sacked Panama, I knew that my road to redemption would be paved with tombstones. And by the time they brought the apocalypse to West Africa and the Indian Ocean, I would come to know two words with biblical significance. No quarter. No quarter. Kill All Masters. Rated R. Coming soon. Available on all platforms. Visit noquarterkillallmasters.com.